Welcome to Neuroscience for Everyday Living. I'm your host, Steve Anderson, and this video series is about how we can apply what neuroscientists have learned about how the brain functions in our everyday lives. The brain, as you may have heard, has more connections in it than there are stars in our galaxy. For those who like numbers, there are 100 billion stars, estimated, in the Milky Way. Your brain has around 86 billion neurons, which add up to 100 trillion connections, estimated, in the brain. Now, the brain's computing power involves hard-to-imagine numbers too. It's 1 exaflop. What is a quintillion? Not only is the brain quick, but it's also efficient. The brain uses about 20 watts of power to work. A supercomputer recently pulled off that 1 exaflop speed, but it took 20 megawatts to do the same. That's 20 watts, our brain, versus 20 million watts supercomputer. All those numbers are impressive, but they aren't very usable in everyday life, unless you play lots of neuroscience-based trivia games. Things this video series will cover include how your brain learns and ways to optimize learning, how your brain creates and processes emotions, what happens to your brain when you fall in love, what happens to your brain on art, what happens to your brain on religion, what happens to your brain when you're depressed, how anxiety affects the brain and what you can do about it, how sleep, diet, and exercise affect the brain, how your brain responds to the environment, and much, much more. There are, after all, over 1 trillion connections that can work at that exaflop speed. The goal will be to end each short video with practical steps that you can take to get the most out of your life by utilizing that beautiful brain of yours the best you can. Now, a little on me. My background is in education. I taught reading, writing, and student success for 20 years at the community college level. I have master's degrees in English and theology in the arts. I have taken additional graduate courses in education and counseling, trained in neuroscience for coaches, and I base everything posted on what I've learned in those courses, as well as what I've read in books and articles on neuroscience. Everything posted will be backed by research with a short list of sources at the end of each video. See you next week, and remember, your brain needs sleep and time in nature. I hope you get enough of both between now and the next video.